Welcome back to Starting Lineup. It is a Super Bowl 60 edition of the Starting Lineup with Kip Keefer, Tony Kurre, and a very special guest today, Kip. We got the man.
It's an annual tradition, and we are delighted once again to welcome back Super Bowl participant and all-around great guy, fantastic NFL legend.
Yeah, baby, yeah! And former Tony Kurre partner on the opening drive for 13 or 14 years, too.
That's his biggest claim.
I got to see this guy every morning for about 14 years at 5:30 in the morning. I could not think of a happier face. I'll throw my ex-wife in there, too. I'd say I'd like to see his face first before I'd like to see my ex-wife's face.
Well, you have no idea how much I learned from you in 13 years.
Man, Super Bowl 60 coming up. You were part of Super Bowl 34. I want to start right where everyone's going to probably be asking questions. And I was going back and looking at stats. You, in the year of 2000, were 1 of 1 for the entire season from 50 to 59 yards. You were 7 of 8 from 40 to 49. So you did really well long distance-wise. Cam Little, earlier this year in preseason, hit a 70-yard field goal in a preseason game. Why are players hitting such long field goals now as opposed to back in your playing time? You were really, really good. I think you hit like 82% that year. You were 98% from extra point land. But why are players so much more in tune with the long field goal now?
And Cam Little also had a 67 and a 68-yard in the regular season.
Crazy.
I've been asked this question so many times, and honestly, I think first and foremost, they're bigger, stronger, better athletes, number one. They've spent a lot more time craft sensitive to what they're trying to do. So I think it's more intricate in the way that they train. I also think the field surfaces that they play on, you're not playing in Cleveland in the middle of winter.
That's a great point.
You're not playing in Chicago or Green Bay in the middle of the mud, things like that. Field surfaces are so much better that your plant foot is going to be like normal, whether it's September or December. Now, the outside influences, yes, still are there. And the last couple of years, they've been able to work in the footballs a little bit.
Yeah.
And there has been...
Now, when you say work in the footballs, explain what that means.
Kind of just get them...
Because you used to tell me how you used to prepare your balls before every game. Yeah.
Just get them broken in, more or less.
Exactly.
We used to get them at the end of my career. They'd come out of the box. The refs would be sent right to the referees, and then they'd be put in the game. Now they get a chance to kind of work them over and make them, nice and supple. And
How about
all that good stuff? And I think that makes it a huge difference too. So much to the point that I think the NFL may make a decision when the league has their meetings this year that may be a change.
Wow, that they can't touch the balls.
Well, you look at Tom Dempsey went from 1971, and it wasn't broken until almost the year 2000.
63, and now 63 something made almost every weekend.
Right.
Yeah, that's a chip shot.
Really?
Yeah. Then from then, maybe there were 14 kicks made over 60 yards in the next 8 years. In the last 3, there's been like 16 made.
Amazing.
So I think the NFL, as great as these guys are doing, and God bless them for what they're doing, it's unbelievable. I think the NFL may kind of take some action against that, kind of like they did with the kickoff rule.
Yeah. In that year 2000, how many opportunities did you have to kick between a 50 and a 59-yard field? Because back then you didn't even try to kick a field goal from 55 yards.
No, because you were number one, the percentage was way down compared to what they make. Not only the yardage that they're making, but
when I saw you hit 1 of 1, I was like, wow, only 1, 2, because I know you have more opportunities
even
than that.
50 plus, gosh, they're hitting 70% and 75% of the field goals. When I was playing, if you were 50% over 50 yards, you were considered a success.
Yeah.
I think because of that, that's why the NFL may take action.
I know Kip's got a lot of questions for you. Santo Cruz Kurre, my son, loves this man right here. It's like Uncle Al. He's like, he couldn't believe that you were going to be in the studio today, right here in the starting lineup. Wanted to know, please ask Al if he ever got the yips, and if he did, how did he get over it?
With kicking or golf?
Well, I know you did in golf, and I'm just a yip, period. But no, in kicking. Did you ever have a yip in the National Football League? And if you did, how'd you get through it?
No, I mean, there were days at practice where you were just kind of off a little bit. Maybe it was because of the wind that day or something that was a little more severe. But I never got to a point where I went into a game worried about what are we going to do today if I have to kick. And that's even to the point of if I went through warm-ups and didn't have a good warm-up, and I try to tell the kids I coach at Sanford now, when you're warming up on the range, all that is a warm-up. Don't let that kind of influence as to what your day is going to be.
There you go.
By the same token, if I had a great warm-up, that didn't mean I was good to go for the rest of the game either. It was still attempt by attempt that I went through in the game. So never really worried about, or had the yips, so to speak.
Aldo Greco is going to be in the Legend Cave in a few minutes. Skip, what you got, brother?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about Al, and I mentally committed to ask this question when I had the opportunity. Was watching the semifinal game in the NCAA. It was not the NCAA, it was the college football playoff. The NCAA has nothing to do with that. But the Miami game against Ole Miss, we had 3 field goals in one game doink off the upright. How rare is that? How hard is that to have happen?
In one game particularly, yes. If you have 2 in a season, that would be rare, I think, as well as an individual over the course of the whole season. But just crazy how that happened. And
if I told you to hit an upright, how many kicks would it take?
Well, we used to do a drill, actually, Tony, where you would get on the back line of the end zone where the goalposts are, and you would kick from that line trying to hit the goalpost. Because obviously if it hits the goalpost, it's a straight kick from that angle. And you'd be surprised how the year that I really specifically spent on that, I think I hit the most uprights.
Really?
And I haven't. If it was a coincidence, I don't know why. Or was it subconsciously you're aiming for the upright, and then when you get back in the field, it's still kind of dinged off it a little bit. I had very few that hit it and went through, though.
Amazing.
I promise you
it really is.
The other Al question that I kind of filed away was the second half of the NFL semifinal game between the Broncos and the Patriots, where the weather just went ugly at halftime with a blizzard and wind. The kickers were struggling the whole second half. What's the worst conditions you ever kicked in, and how bad did it affect you?
We had a game in Green Bay when I was there. The temperature, I think, was 20.
Perfect.
And the wind chill was about 5 degrees. And it was probably 30, 35 mile an hour winds. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. Perfect sunlight. And I can remember we had, I don't know, somewhere between 35 and 40 yard attempt. And I went out there, and as I'm taking my steps, the gust of wind actually knocked me off balance.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember just kind of continuing in my motion going, there's no way I'm going to make this kick. And sure enough, I yanked it left. But that was probably the worst conditions. We also played in what they called the Snow Bowl, where the Green Bay Packers played the Tampa Bay Bucks. And it actually snowed, I think, 16 inches during the game.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
I remember.
Over 30 inches for the day, that day. So when we left the game and went home, the entire city was shut down.
We will not have that problem in Super Bowl 60. We only have a couple minutes left. What's your thoughts of the big game coming up? Seahawks, of course, taking on the Patriots. We've been breaking this game down now for seems like about a year. But what's your thoughts on it?
Seahawks are, they're hard to bet against. They've been so consistent and kind of been the cat's meow of the NFL this year. I do think, though, and I love Mike Vrabel when he was with the Titans. I wish they would have kept him.
Oh, gosh, what a
I think
mistake.
he's a great football coach, and the May kid, you can't say enough about the way he's playing. So that and quarterback for the Seahawks, Arnold.
Sam Darnold.
Give him credit for what he's been through, too, and the year that he's put up.
He's only won 28 games the last 2 years. Not bad.
It's good. But, guys, I'm kind of and I think this is a stance I can defend pretty good. I'm not so sure the best teams won the games to get to the Super Bowl. I think in both cases, on a normal day, the Broncos probably find a way to win that game.
Yeah.
And I thought the Rams looked like a better team than the Seahawks head-to-head. And they had a couple of real close games this year, but both of these teams, to me, were kind of fortunate to be there.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel could be the first guy in NFL history to win multiple Super Bowls as a
What a
player,
job
and
he's
then
done.
also one as a
They only
coach,
won
which would be
4
really cool.
games last year.
And good
That's
for him. Yeah, what he's done and turned that team around. And of course, both Bill Belichick and Bob Kraft not in the Hall of Fame on their first vote. Go figure. This is a guy right here, and I'm being serious now. I follow NFL. You should be in the Hall of Fame, not only because of what you did when we first started doing the opening drive. You were top 10 in points, period, in the history of the National Football League. And I think but the fact that you had such an enduring, a long career, you were the most consistent guys. I would have taken you over anybody watching Kenny Anderson, my guys in Cincinnati over the years. But I love you, man. Thank you so much for coming in. Don't wait till next Super Bowl to come join us. So you don't need a phone call. You don't need a phone call from me, brother. Just come on in. We can talk about Sanford golf. We can talk about all kinds of stuff. So we're happy to do that. So if you want some more Aldo Greco, you're getting him in the Legend Cave coming up in a few minutes right here on the starting lineup.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino turns dreams into reality. Like Roger M., who just won over $51,000. And Rebecca, celebrating a life-changing jackpot of $160,000. You could be the next to dance the Icky Shuffle with a big win.
Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! And you can be a winner too!
Don't miss your chance to be our next big winner at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Hey, welcome back to the Legend Cave, where a few men have ever been invited. I'm talking about Elvis Presley, Ronnie Van Zant, Tony Curry, Keefer, Paul Finebaum, and occasionally I let an Auburn Tiger in because I love this man so much, the great Aldo Greco. Welcome, brother. You're only the second Auburn Tiger to ever be allowed in the Legend Cave.
Well, I feel honored, and if you'd have told me 15, 20 years ago that this was going to happen when we were yakking on this radio,
man.
I would have said, heck no,
Come
no way.
on, man. I'm talking Tony Curry, Aldo Greco, the great Jay Barker. Man, y'all had it going on back in the day. You missed those days when Legend was calling in talking about, that Tony Curry's crazy! He's crazy!
I do, to the point that you never knew where you were going to be coming from.
Yeah.
So you kind of had to be ready to go in all kind of directions. Some of the times I didn't know if you were being sarcastic or if you were actually kind of telling the truth, but that's what made you a great caller and a big part of our show.
Man, I appreciate it so much. That's where I got my start, just calling y'all. And today in the Legend Cave, the reason I have this great man with me, I hear you, Bear! The reason I have this great Auburn Tiger man with me is I am writing a personal letter to Greg Byrne. Dear Greg Byrne, you ain't cutting it, dude. Can you give me any suggestions of what I might could tell Greg Byrne down there at Alabama to help us? The way too early poll has Alabama number 17, Al. I can't handle that. Number 17. I can't handle number 17, Al.
After the run you had, you're asking me to help you
Help
after
me,
a
Al.
couple bad
This
years?
is what it's come to,
Are you
Al.
serious?
This is what it's come to. This is what it's come to. But I have so much respect for you.
I
It's
appreciate
a personal favor to me, and the fact that Greg Byrne needs to keep his job. Could you give us some advice? What do you see, Alabama? What do you see that's wrong with Alabama football?
Honestly, Legend, I think after what we as Auburn fans had to endure in the Nick Saban era, I think things are really good down there right now. I think
I'm writing this stuff down.
we knew Coach Saban was something that would never be repeated, and I think they've done a pretty good job. The Florida State loss last year, I was thinking, man, it's done.
Yeah.
But they actually came back. They played good the rest of the year. They had a chance. They got in the playoffs. But I don't know. It's hard to have that same.
If you could give one piece of advice that I could give to Greg Byrne
To get Alabama football back.
Overlooked Alabama. Imagine we was talking about the Tennessee Titans right now. If you could give, not the Titans. Oh my God! Give me some advice to help me.
I would go by and hire Coach Saban again.
There we go.
I think that's the easiest way to get back to what you did.
Now we talking.
And by the way, I love Coach Saban on game day. I think he does a great job on that. But they played good at times. They had issues at times, but now they're just not what they were under Coach Saban, and that's great for the rest of the college football, I think.
Let me put this in Al Del Greco terms here, Greg Burns. P.S. Get the hell out of town. We need a new GM down there. Hey, Al Del Greco in the Legend Cave. Love you, dude. It's Super Bowl weekend. Don't be like the legend. Sports insane.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino turns dreams into reality. Like Roger M., who just won over $51,000. And Rebecca, celebrating a life-changing jackpot of $160,000. You could be the next to dance the Icky Shuffle with a big win.
Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! And you can be a winner too!
Don't miss your chance to be our next big winner at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Hey, it's Case Keefer back again for another edition of the Vegas Heaters. I'm a longtime sports bettor, sports betting writer, along with assistant sports editor for Greenspun Media Group, which includes Las Vegas Sun and Las Vegas Weekly. Another Super Bowl week here in Las Vegas. I actually didn't count them up, but I think this might be my 17th, 16th, something like that. So hoping for another winning one. And honestly, it kind of feels like a throwback to me for one major reason I'm going to be talking about a lot on this segment today. I think maybe the first Super Bowl betting story I ever wrote when I came here, and I haven't checked this either. You'd have to dig through the Las Vegas Sun archives to make sure. But it was about how the sharp guys in Las Vegas, a lot of times during the Super Bowl, they're looking for more the no's and the unders. And why is that? Well, it makes a lot of sense. We bring in so much tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions even in some cases. Now we've hit the 200 million mark of money come in. Everyone wants to bet on things to happen. They want to bet the overs, the yeses. With all the money that comes in on the Super Bowl, that puts value on the other way. Now, I've kind of strayed from that strategy over the years, especially, I think, to success the last 3 years. We've seen the last three Super Bowls. A whole lot happened in them. They flew over. I however, think this one is going to come a little bit back to the curve. I do think this will be lower scoring. I think this will be a cagier game. I already talked about the major markets a little bit last week on this segment, how I do like the Seahawks, but I also like the under. However, I liked under at 46.5, 46. Now it's down to 45, about where I think it would, so I would no longer bet that. However, you can still wager on liking that type of game script in other avenues, especially the prop bets, which of course is the most popular way to bet the Super Bowl at this point. So I thought I would share 4 of the prop bets I'm making this week that have to do with the unders and the nos. Let's go with one that's probably going to have people wanting to kick me or say, what are you doing? You always say the opposite of this. Year after year, I like to take the yes and will a team score 3 consecutive times. I've probably done it so many times over the year. You probably remember, I think a year ago, I did it. It happens way more often than I think the betting public realizes. It's been a cash cow if you've bet that one over the years. However, I am flipping sides this year. I am going to the no. No team will score 3 times in a row in this game. I've seen it as high as plus 155 here in Las Vegas. Again, I just think this game is going to be defensive. I don't think it's going to be a lot of wild scoring. I think both teams play slow, and it's going to kind of be back and forth. So I think at that high of a payout. Also, these odds have adjusted. I mean, this was closer to pick 'em back when I first started beating the drum about the merits of this bet. Now it's such a high plus price. Just with how I see the game going, I don't really see one team pulling away. Turnovers can always throw things out, but hey, you're getting that baked into the price. Plus 155, nice plus price for neither team to score 3 times in a row. Now, of course, I would like to get into some player stuff, so the next 3 will all be on the player level. And as much as I do like the Seahawks and think they cover this game, I think the number should be closer to 6, where, to go back to the spread a little bit, I do think we see some late big Seattle bets that's going to push this at least over 5. But I am worried about one thing. I think I mentioned it last week as well. The Patriots having the best player on the field, and that is quarterback Drake May. I am so high on Drake May. I think he gets a Super Bowl at some point. It's probably easy to say with these, right there this year. But even if not this year, I think he probably brings the Patriots back. However, I think you're getting a slight discount on some of his props just because of how poorly he's played in the playoffs. He hasn't looked as primed for success as he was throughout the entire regular season. So I wanted to find a way to bet it. However, like I said, I don't really love the overs. His passing yards, touchdowns, things like that are still really high. But one way where I think you can kind of buy the dip, so to speak, with the way he's been playing lately and being a little more turnover prone, I'm going to say Drake May does not throw an interception. I think the best price you can get in Las Vegas on that is minus 120. I just feel like he's going to have a better game, but more importantly, I just feel like the game plan is going to be set up for him to make a lot of quick throws, throws around the line of scrimmage. I think they know the Seahawks' pressure has been playing so well. I think Josh McDaniels will scheme some things. I don't think they're going to take any risks unless maybe they fall into a big hole. So I think that is a good price on Drake May, not to throw an interception. Let's go to his teammate next for an under. I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs, the biggest name receiver on the team. I'm going to take him under 45.5 receiving yards. Now, I talked last week about how much I really like Hunter Henry in this matchup. I mean, you can't ignore that Kayshon Boutte is kind of on an up right now. He's been up and down all year, but I think he's on an up right now. I think he's getting more involved with the passing game. I just think they spread it around a little bit more. The Seahawks, a really good secondary. I think if there's anyone they're keyed on, it will be Stephon Diggs. So I'm going to take Diggs under 45.5 receiving yards, I believe, is the best price I've seen in Las Vegas on him. That's probably my least favorite of the four I'm going to share, but one more, we got to go with a Seahawks under as well. I talked last week about how I was looking to fade Kenneth Walker. I think he's a great running back. I love him, but I just don't love the matchup with the Patriots rush defense. I would think about betting him under rushing yards. 77.5 I think was the best number. However, the way I prefer to bet him more than that, under 22.5 receiving yards. Now, he's gone over this in both the two playoff games without Zach Charbonnet, where he's been getting more work, but I think it's kind of a fluke. The Seahawks don't love him in the passing game. Maybe slight correction, they like throwing to him, but on a lot of passing downs, he's not in because he is a liability in pass protection. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. I think future Raiders coach Clint Kubiak will have get George Holani in, mix some other guys, and I do not think it will be Kenneth Walker getting a lot of the work on receiving down. So under 22.5 receiving yards for Kenneth Walker. Those are my 4 best bets. Thanks for another great football season as we conclude here with the Super Bowl on the starting lineup. Let's get some final thoughts from the other guys.
Warning! This program contains irrefutable facts, unapologetically biased opinions, and shameless homerism for the Southeastern Conference and its teams. Misguided fans of other leagues and teams may find some of the information in this broadcast to be disillusioning, deflating, or even offensive. You've been warned. Kip, Terry, Tony, Legend, Case, and our special guests, we own the airwaves. Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. on Jocks 94.5. It's game time. Saturdays, 10:30, ABC 3340 television. Get ready for the SEC on ABC and get in the starting lineup. And on Sundays, 9 a.m. on Jocks, it is Kip and Terry after a great day of football, the morning after.
1, ignition, and liftoff. We have liftoff of Season 9 of The Morning After. Terry Quillian and Kip Keefer at the controls, delivering a payload of unlimited, invaluable information and entertainment, pinpoint analysis, and unique perspective unavailable anywhere else in the universe. A supersonic show in an orbit all of its own. If you love college football and fun, get on board. Boldly going where no football show has gone before.
Hipster, are we there yet?
On our way, Ter. Definitely on our way.
Hey, 2026 is going to be a very special year in the starting lineup. I believe it's our 3rd year. We've got a ton of great sponsors coming on board. Finally, people are getting it. We're the #1 rated show, 10 to 10:30 and 10:30 to 11 o'clock, even against College Game Day, because we're local. People know Kip. They know Aldo Greco. They know Tony Kurre. We greatly appreciate that, too.
Nobody wants to hear that McAfee character.
No, not at all. Woodhouse Day Spa, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Fantastic. We have Valentine's Day right around the corner. Check out birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Also, of course, Sasquatch Toys and Comics. Over 300,000 comics down there in beautiful Homewood. Seth and the guys will take care of you for any kind of toy you need. Check them out. They're wonderful. And also, of course, the show we do on Tuesday and Fridays, 10 o'clock Central on the Coastal Digital Sports Network and Tony Kurre Radio. It's called K4 Sports. If you're into handicapping, you want to do a little gambling, perhaps you're getting ready for Super Bowl 60, check out K4Sports.com. Speaking of the devil, you were in Super Bowl 34. You came out just a little short.
Oh, man.
I know. 23-16. You had a chance that you were going to win that game in overtime. It would have been awesome.
I've always said, and I've said it every year Al's been on, I think Al's destiny was denied because he probably had a shot at kicking the winning field goal.
There
in
is
that game,
no, and they were so
not
close.
For a half a yard.
So close. Give me your Super Bowl winner and why.
Again, it's hard to pick against the Seahawks, but I just have an affinity for the Patriots and Vrabel, especially with what they've done this year. I think the Patriots win this one 27-17.
Okay, that'll put it right under the total. Kip, what you think?
I admire so much what Vrabel's accomplished in bringing the Patriots back. I still think they're a young team on a roll, maybe just a little bit ahead of their time to get to this game. Seattle's defense, I hate to harken back to yesterday's adages, but defense wins championships. This defense is fearsome. I thought the Rams did as good a job against them as anybody I saw this year. I think they shut the Patriots offense down, who doesn't really have the weapons, I think, to stand toe-to-toe with this team. I think it's a low-scoring game. I'm going to go 20-17, Seattle winning it all.
The Pats win this game. They will break a tie with the Pittsburgh Steelers, winning us all time. I brought this up. The Pats have played in 20% of every Super Bowl.
That is
20% of every Super Bowl. That is 12 Super Bowls in 6 years. That's unbelievable. And I agree with you. I think they're a little young, but I think there's something special about this team. And the fact that Legend already took Seattle minus the 4.5. So I have to take the Pats plus 4.5, and I'm already down to 50 spots. So I don't want to be bringing a C-note to this cat next week. But I'm going to take the Pats. Only because, you're only as good as the teams you play. I know they haven't played anybody really, really good, but Sam Darnold, he's been so good. 4 touchdowns, 0 picks in the postseason. He did have 9 picks, 9 touchdowns the second half of the season. He's got the oblique situation where I know adrenaline will get you through a lot of that, but one good right in there like that. And I think he's due for a pickoff. Seattle's had the second amount of number of turnovers. They've had 28 turnovers this year, only behind the Minnesota Vikings, and they've been really good at holding on to the football this postseason. I think it's time for them to let go of it a few times. I think the Pats jump on it. So I'm going to say Pats 27-23. I think because everyone, Kip, is taking the under, I'm going to take the over.
Yeah,
I'm going to play that over. So we're going to see what happens.
Like I say in college football all the time, it doesn't matter how you play, it's who you play. That is an important factor Tony mentioned. The Patriots, historically, this is like the 3rd weakest schedule in the last 50 years of NFL football. So everything has just fallen into place right. If they win, it's going to be a tremendous accomplishment. I still have to go with the Seahawks, but not to cover.
The huge question, by the way, I was telling the story of Tinkerbell. I miss Tinkerbell. She was like 11-2. We had a goat from Old Baker Farm. The biggest question is this, though. Halftime. Bad Bunny, Kid Rock. Which one you going? Bad Bunny, Kid Rock.
I'm going Kid Rock.
Yeah, I'm going to go Kid Rock, too.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to go Kid Rock. You going Kid Rock?
Bad Bunny, good grief.
Especially after the Grammys. The other night.
Especially.
Yeah. I have no comment.
Times they are changing, my friend. I turned 60 this year. I feel it. I'm getting close. I'm just about ready to start. I'm about ready to start screaming after kids on the street. Come on! Yep. I'll send Keefer over there to kick your ass. Get off there.
That's right.
Hey, we got about a minute left. Tell me about Sanford Golf. What's going on?
Doing great. We had a really good fall. We won a tournament. We were top 10 in all 5 that we played. Two of the fields were really strong, so I was proud of them for that. We leave next week on Saturday for our first event of the spring in Hilton Head, and just looking forward to kind of working and carrying on from what we did in the fall.
If you play my Musketeers, be easy.
How's your
We
game
try to
now?
beat everybody we play with no thoughts involved.
Are you still popular on the member guest circuit? I bet you are.
Yes and no. I honestly don't know, Kip, to be honest with you. I haven't played a whole lot, watching the guys and kind of hitting a few balls here and there. But they all want to see me kick a football.
Yeah, they do.
I had my second knee replaced a year ago in November, so I'm finally to the point where I think I may give it a go and see what happens. I don't think I've done it since the parking lot.
The parking lot? Yeah, you hit like a 45-yarder in the parking lot. He hit one in the parking lot of the radio station. Amazing. I love you, brother. I love you, brother. Great to see you. Aldo Greco, participant in Super Bowl 34 against the Rams. It kept a little short there. We hope you have a wonderful time this weekend. Please be careful. Enjoy your big parties going on tomorrow. Super Bowl 60 in the starting lineup. We'll be back coming up next week. And then we just found out in a couple weeks, Jeff Spiegel will be in the studio with us as well, so we're going to have all kinds of special guests right here on the starting lineup. Thank you so much for watching us. We appreciate you right here, and God bless.